We'll just start filming and then I'll come up with something. Hey everybody, welcome to my first video that's not a pickups video. So today I'm going to be talking about my manga buying strategies, or basically what I'm looking for when I'm looking in a bookstore or Barnes & Noble, at your thrift shop or whatever, what I'm looking for anytime I'm looking to buy something. Enjoy.
So everyone has a sort of criteria when purchasing manga. The criteria I use for purchasing manga is like a multitude of factors, from visuals of the manga to the book itself, so I wanted to make this video to give you an idea of what I look for when I buy my manga. For most manga that I purchase, I try to get them in as good a condition as possible, so let me start with the paperbacks. I always check the front cover, the back cover, and the spine for visual damage. This could be anything from dents and scratches to old stickers that are plastered on. I want my books to look good on a shelf and in hand, so I tend to stray away from books with major damage. A lot of bigger book chains don't seem to be taking too good of care for their manga, leaving me to avoid purchasing new releases if all the stock is messed up in some way. Next, I check for printing issues. I don't care too much if the printing issues are on the inside, like small ink blotches or pages being a little bit lighter on ink than others. What I'm really speaking about is misalignments of the covers. Because of how misprinting works, not every volume is going to come out completely perfect out of the printers. This leads to some of the spine covers either bleeding onto the front or the back cover. The spine itself starts to look a little off. I do have a couple of examples of this, because there was a time where I became really desperate for this specific volume. Alright, so let's check it out. This is The Promised Neverland Volume 13. As you can see, I've kept it in very good condition, and obviously I got it in really good condition. I'm trying to show you here how the cover, the spine, and the back cover are looking pretty good. Like, everything seems to be mostly aligned. You have maybe a little bit of issues here and there, but honestly, this is pretty good. And then comes The Promised Neverland Volume 5. So, let's take a look at here. See, as you can tell, the front cover is bleeding over here onto the spine. You can see Emma's hand is currently grabbing onto the side like that. It's really off, and it kind of sucks, because you can also see some of the spines leaning on the back. It's no good. My final check for paperback volume is looking at the pages. I'm actually not super picky about yellowing on pages as long as it's readable. I feel like it's almost impossible to find volumes from the 90s and the early 2000s that have pristine pages, so I'm totally okay with it. I also check to make sure if there's any bent pages or water damage. I have had some volumes slip through with like 1 or 2 bent pages, but I'm okay with it as long as it's just a minimal fold. Now, if there are multiple pages folded, or there are rips or a major fold on a page, I tend to stay away from it. Now let's take a look at some hardcover manga. These are usually pretty easy for me to purchase, since I would argue they are harder to damage, but I do have my checks. For the cover, I make sure to check if there are any dents. It's definitely harder to dent these kinds of books, but I definitely feel like the dents are more obvious on these covers, and if I'm going to be spending more money for these volumes, I would like them to be presentable. Also with the covers, I check the edges to make sure that they have not been bent in any way. I think that this is the easiest area to damage on the hardcovers, so I like to keep an eye out on them just to make sure. And as with the paperbacks, I check the pages just to make sure that there are no major folds or water damage to the book.
So for the final part, I'm going to be talking about logo changes and logo differences between manga that I own. Obviously, companies are changing logos all the time. Some companies stick around, I would say, pretty often, like Kodansha, Yen Press. They've all been pretty consistent. Dark Horse has been pretty consistent. However, so one of the biggest parts of my collection, which is Viz Media, Shonen Jump, they've been changing their logos basically since they started. For me, I typically don't care too much. So I'm going to show you some examples. I have 3 different types of 100x100 volumes here. I have the original printing, which has got the Viz Media logo with the eyeball, and the Shonen Jump Advanced. Then, the second one's got the second Viz Media logo with, again, Shonen Jump Advanced. And third is the updated Shonen Jump logo, which is the line-ish, like, bold text with the new Viz Media logo, which is the VIZ in red. Or, I think it changes depending on the book. But, for most of the time, it's red. So, for me, of course, it doesn't matter. As long as you can get that entire collection all together, I think that's the goal at the end, right? Is to be able to finish it, be able to have it all with you, so you can read it, so you can share with friends, so you can talk about it. I think it's harder to try to get all of those books together. I think you could save a lot of time, a lot of money, of course, save a lot of money on just trying to get any volume, any of them you can. If you want to go for that, that full original printing, go for it. If you want to mix it up every once in a while, all power to you. For me, it's all about just getting the collection done at the end of the day. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and it's like a little bit different, of course, because I'm reading off a script versus improv. Going improvisation is what I prefer. So, like, comment, favorite, subscribe, do what you want, do what you need. I obviously will enjoy anything that you do. And honestly, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.